Okay, this is the analysis video of my 2353 that I said I'd make. I made one for my 2456, but a lot's changed since that run with some small optimizations in like um, Castle Blight's Calamity, and the whole plateau being rerouted. So there's a lot of stuff to go over. Um, Last time it was a 2.5 hour video, so this time I'm splitting into two sections. One will be going over Plateau, which is this one. Then the other one will be going over Castle Blights and Calamity. Okay, so as a warning, this run does a lot of risky strats that I wouldn't recommend to beginners. So if you're just learning the run, definitely don't try to do all of these strats. I actually made another video that goes over all of the consistent strats that I would recommend doing. And it kind of shows how fast you can go using those. So I'll link that in the description. But yeah, I guess time to start the run. So I guess a couple of things before the actual run starts. This is kind of just settings that you want. Um, Breath of the Wild, any percent is fastest in French, specifically European French. So optimally, you want to set your switch's region to Europe, because if you're in Canadian French, it's a few frames slower. But yeah, that's what French only saves 4 seconds over English. So it's a small thing, but you might as well do it because actually being able to read the text doesn't change the run at all. So I use gyro. There's a couple of spots where like gyro can be useful, but it's not a big deal. I guess you'll want your scroll speed or like camera sensitivity set to very fast, if you haven't already, because it's actually not that hard to get used to, and so you might as well get used to it because it is slightly faster. Let's see, is there anything else? Probably not. Okay, so I'm just gonna skip forward until here. So this is SOR clip, right? Right there you press right stick to open your scope for the first time. You get the cutscene for like opening the scope initially. Um, you want to cancel that with either R or Y, essentially just trying to pull out a weapon because that'll cancel the animation. So you can immediately sprint out, say run, jump. Now here with SOR clip, you want to make sure that Link's facing angle is like properly set, because Link's facing angle I've found is a lot more precise. That like actually really matters. The the camera angle. So for this clip, there's both, yeah, the when you're looking at the minimap, you've got the way Link is facing, which that is not a straight line. Yeah, you've got the way that Link is facing, and then you've got the way the camera is facing. Those both matter, but essentially my cues, see, Link is facing kind of, you draw a straight line, which I can't do, but if you were to, it's like slightly right of this cross. See this, there's like this right here. It's kind of a bigger cross. And so I actually want to line it up so that Link is facing slightly right of it. And that's the cue I use. I think you can get away with facing slightly left of my cue. But then for the field of view lines, I line up the left one. You see this is the other cross. And yeah, I just try to have the left field of view line slightly left of that. And so you also want to make sure that Link is like, his position is set before you start spamming R to try to clip out. Because I feel like if you rush it, you're gonna have it not work. Some of the time, like, you'll end up opening the scope before Link is able to get in position to actually clip out. So you're just gonna like fall down after opening scope. But yeah, here you just run out. You kind of want, well, essentially, there's this yeah, you just want to run over here. There's like this black texture that you want to follow with your whistle sprinting. And you want to make sure you have full stamina by the time you're grabbing the wall. That's important because this climb is optimal if you do 2 jumps up, and you can see there's this black texture. You kind of want to be to the right of that. I found that you recover more stamina if you're, well, you recover more stamina in that Link is able to whistle sprint up further if you follow like to the right of this black texture. So if you go up this way, you're going to be able to recover to full stamina before you start to climb again. He trips a bit, but then you just whistle sprint some more, and then do 3 jumps, and this should get you up to a point where you can just start whistle sprinting again. Now here, there's, of course, the black dot that you're going to try to crouch on, and then uncrouch to clip back in bounds. Okay, so here, this is just running, but it's important to note that you want to be taking straight lines when you're running. It's pretty obvious when you like say it, but really try to take like a straight line to your destination because it does add up. So here it's kind of just, you follow a straight path to the Bocos. Let's see. See how I kind of go straight towards it. This is kind of pretty average, or like pretty normal stamina usage. So the important bit is that you're whistling around here. Like, you want the Bocos to notice you as soon as possible so that their pattern, like movement pattern, is consistent, and you're able to grab the shield and spear before they get to it. Right here, something I do, which I don't actually know if this is more optimal, but if you run straight this way, then Link will actually like be airborne for a bit. He'll like fall. Whereas I take a path where I actually try to run slightly left here. There's like this dip right there. I actually kind of run slightly left so that he actually doesn't go airborne at all. It doesn't really make a difference, I don't think, but it feels like it's faster. But yeah. Okay. Now for this part, I try to, right there I do an instant shield jump. Essentially, I'm just trying to. You see, there's this slope part. I want to shield jump so that I'm actually hitting right past the slope. That way I get the best acceleration, the shield surf. And I like an instant shield jump. I feel like it is more consistent. But yeah, right here, when you enter the Zelda cutscene, um, there's a lot of different spots you could enter it, right? It's just a distance thing. So if you go further this way, you could enter it like over here. But what I found is you want to mess around with it so that you can get a consistently fast shield surf down this slope. And so you want to try to keep it consistent, right? You always enter the Zelda cutscene at the same spot. So I try to enter the Zelda cutscene kind of like right around these flowers. And then I have my camera pointed so that if I'm holding forward, it's like going towards this rubble.
Link. Link.
And then I do an instant shield jump straight out of
Dirige-toi vers
the
le lieu que
cutscene.
t'indique la carte
I guess
de la
technically I
taverne
run a
céleste.
little bit, but essentially just a straightforward instant shield surf. Okay, here, this part, you can ZL jump onto the wall. Essentially, that just makes Link grab the wall without doing a little step up. Because normally if you have momentum and you're jumping onto a wall, like climb up a bit, which in this case we don't need the extra height from that. So it's faster if you are holding ZL and you jump onto the wall. So he can instantly grab it. So okay. For TOT clip, you want to take it pretty. I mean, you can go fast, but also you don't want to go too fast because there's a mechanic in this game where if you shield jump and then try to shield jump too soon after that, it actually shortens your shield jump for the second one. So setting skew is a shield jump. So if you go too quickly, it actually cuts the distance of your shield jump, which seems to mess up clips. I don't really know why, right? For this shield clip, you are right up against the window you're trying to clip through. So it doesn't really make sense to me why that would affect it. Um, it doesn't seem to affect ESCs at all because you can try those again like immediately. But multiple runners agree that it's probably the shortened shield jump that's causing or that causes like TOT clip to be inconsistent if you're not inconsistent, but like hard to hit second try. So yeah, just take your time on this setup. And I guess my cue is I line up the field of view line with there's a let's see this no this way with this there's like a solid line and then one to the left there's this like this first prominent cross, but this one's a super lenient clip, so um, you can kind of play with it. And I think the angle I take is a lot further, like it's a lot steeper than other people, so you might want to take a shallower angle, I guess. Yeah, clip through right here. Okay, this is an interesting thing that I learned from watching a comparison of my run and Korox's run um, from a while ago. I guess it wasn't that long, but essentially, I think you want to be opening these chests while you're walking. Because if you run, Link will take an extra half second, I think, to stop running. Whereas if you're just walking, he'll immediately go to open it. So yeah, it's a small thing, but these small things add up. Okay, so here, run into the pot. I back up to grab the arrows. You want to hold ZL so that Link holds out the shield. That way you don't like turn around when you're walking back to grab the arrows. And then you do a quick fix here, which a quick fix is really just shield jump unequip shield. And this, it's called a quick fix because that's what you use to fix your, or temporarily fix your ragdoll glitch, which lets you win bomb. But the reason we do this is actually because it makes bombs clip more lenient. The theory on that is that you're like fixing your skew or changing it slightly, maybe making it weaker or something like that. But yeah, if you don't do this shield jump unequip, bombs clip is going to be a lot tighter. Okay, so here you just set up BLSS. I like to hold ZL when I'm doing the jump before. Yeah, so I hold ZL for that. And what that does is essentially it makes it so that you can press B and plus at any point during the jump to set up the smuggle state that you need to be able to do the slides. And so if you don't hold ZL while you're doing this jump, you'll want to wait until Link has reached the apex of his jump and is like falling. And that's when you can press B and plus. Otherwise, if you do it at the beginning, he tends to drop the pot or drop the bomb or whatever you're holding. But yeah. So right here, this is essentially I want to be aiming, or my cue is that I aim slightly left of perpendicular and I'm trying to jump at this corner, right? So you want to kind of space Link far enough away that when you reach the apex of your jump, you're at the corner. But yeah, it's just hold ZR, point at this corner essentially, standing maybe a little right of the corner or something. You jump, and then as Link is like about to hit the corner, that's when you press B because you're essentially trying to start holding B when you're getting the step up. So yeah, you want to do that. Now here, um, this is something that I think a lot of people can kind of improve to make their slides a lot faster, which is essentially just start flicking as soon as possible. So you see here, I immediately turn around and I start flicking because I already get some momentum in this direction, right? This is the direction I want to go to escape the TOT. But I've immediately turned around and I'm flicking. So Link is accelerating towards bombs at this point. And because I already have some momentum this way, it's fine, right? I can already flick. And the reason you want to start flicking as soon as possible is because you want to be building speed in the direction you want to go as soon as possible, right? The sooner you start doing that, the faster you'll be able to go. And I feel like I see a lot of people kind of take their time because, like, yeah, you want to ride out the initial momentum a bit. And also, like, I guess it's kind of awkward to try to like start flicking immediately, but it's easy enough to do. You just practice it a bit and it will make your slides a bit faster. But yeah, I guess for slides, make sure you're going straight through the center of the control stick. So like 9 to 3 works really well. It's actually really important that you do that. It's more important than flicking fast. So just if you think your slides are accelerating slowly, look at your like control stick, see if you're actually going straight, like left and right, because it makes a bigger difference than you'd think. But yeah, here you always get a world load there, except when you don't. Um, Now right here, this clip is really lenient. Um, as long as you do that quick fix, the cue I use is essentially just stand somewhere like middle-ish of this big texture on the wall, or essentially middle of this wall. You do a shield jump, but you want your left field of view line lined up with the quest marker. It's really lenient though. You can YOLO it. You actually don't even need to throw aim at all. Sometimes if you just like run straight towards it. Um, I always recommend throw aiming anyway because it's such a small time save. Um, to not do that. But yeah. Let's see. What I want to say. Oh yeah, pre-turn the camera. So right here. And this is something that is pretty general advice, and it's you want to make sure your camera is facing the right direction before you get to the spot where you need to turn your camera. So right here, I'm in a BLSS, so I have time. There's nothing else I can do. I guess not during the BLSS, but I jump out of it, and as I'm falling, there's nothing else I can do except I might as well turn my camera to the right cue, and so that saves a bit of time. And that one, of course, instant shield jump, the classic. You just kind of walk left, same angle, instant shield jump, and you should be good. Okay, we can skip forward. So instant run in shrines saves almost no time, but I might as well go over it. Uh, so you want to hold ZL. Let's see, where is it? You want to hold ZL, skip this cutscene, right? And you're holding ZL and the direction you want to run on the left stick. And then once you skip the cutscene, if you have rumble, when you feel the rumble of the elevator, you want to then let go of ZL and start holding B. And this will let you instantly sprint towards the rune pedestal. Again, I think it saves frames, so it really isn't a big deal. But it looks cool, so might as well do it. Okay, here we are. So this is Gamer Win Bomb, the way I do it. Here you want to jump, and then a little bit of a delay, and then you want to shield jump, and then unequip shield here after you see the skew animation. So you see here, boom, that's the first frame of skew. If you unequip on this frame, it won't clear your skew, but any frame after that, if you unequip, it will clear skew, and you want to clear skew because you're going to reset skew on mag. And so if you're doing Gamer Win Bomb, you might as well do it as you're getting back to the peg. So right here, what I like to do is I tap R, because tapping R means that Link will start the throwing, but he won't throw the spear, right? Because you're not holding R long enough to be able to throw it. So you just tap R, You want to be perpendicular to the peg, and you want to actually be standing kind of on the left side of it. If you stand too far right, Link's going to slide off. So you want to be on the left, like half of it. Um, you can be centered, I think, and it works. But yeah, essentially tap R and then like ZL. Actually, I don't know if you need to hold ZL, but essentially jump onto the peg after you set your angle. And then Link will step up it. So here, my cue for this is this. That's where I want to line up the throw aim. So there's this part. It's just kind of left of that, like very slightly left. And now for this wind bomb is very precise. And there's other setups you can do, but this is the one I do. I found it's, you know, somewhat consistent with practice. But again, it's hard. So it's essentially early bullet time. Um, no, not early bullet time, early circle. And you can hear it when you get a good early circle placement into a slightly delayed bullet time. And then you place square immediately and then turn to this wall. You don't want to turn too much, otherwise you're going to get a dead angle, like speed cap. Um, so it's kind of, you see, I don't know, like turn to around here. You can turn a little, it's like between these two lines kind of thing. It's not super precise, but also it is not a lenient wind bomb, so everything counts. But yeah, I think the thing you can hear and audio cues help with kind of troubleshooting your wind bombs. Because it's like you can't react to the audio cue for placing or for like placing your bombs, but it helps to tell if you're entering bullet time too early or something. You can also see it visually, but I think audio cues are, or listening to the audio is really helpful. Um, but yeah, essentially turn a bit and then detonate at like 1/3 stamina used. And if you did it all right, it should give you a good launch to the end. But again, very hard wind bomb. Takes a lot of practice. Okay, skip forward. But yeah, bombs has a lot. I think the rest of the splits will probably be less involved until castle, but that's a separate video. Yeah, here we are. 2112 are the dialogue options. Um, I scan amiibos in this split. So the reason I do that is because you want to get the RNG out of the way as soon as possible. If you're doing no amiibo, obviously, you don't have to worry about this. But if you're going for like really fast times, you're going to want to scan as early as possible because losing runs later on due to RNG really sucks. So yeah, you want to get that out of the way as soon as you can. And you can't scan amiibos until after you complete the first shrine. So right here is the drink some water. So the first possible spot you can do it. But yeah, it's mostly for RNG. It also lets you do use a better step up spot for Castle BLSS, but I don't think the time difference is anything major. Okay, so right here, I'll actually just explain it right now. How to menu quickly, because you see I switched from bombs to amiibos really fast. The secret to menuing fast in the quick menu is using L and R, essentially the triggers, because you don't have to use the right stick to do menuing. You can just spam the trigger buttons. So right there, I just press up on the D-pad and then a quick RZR, and then I'm on the amiibos. So you can kind of alternate between the two. Like if you wanted to move 4 to the right, you would just go RZR, RZR, and yeah, you'll get used to it. Okay, but essentially scan them immediately, and for this run, we need to cook with 4 ingredients at least. So the minimum requirement is 4 ingredients, 7 points of attack up. From amiibo scans, you only need to get 5 because there's a guaranteed razor shroom. So you can do the math, but essentially right here, I actually get really, really good scans. I got 4 carps and 1 porgy, and so in the run, I actually grabbed this porgy, saw the last carp, and was like, "Oh shoot, I shouldn't have picked that porgy up because it's an extra text box." So you want to grab as few like fish as possible, um, as few types of fish as possible, just so that it's faster. Because each text box you grab is like 2 seconds. So right here with 4 carps, I could cook a 320 um, attack up timer meal, which is good enough. But I accidentally grabbed the porgy because I didn't see the last carp. Let me full screen. I don't know why it registered that as a double tap, but another ZL hop. When you're doing BLSS with a bomb, you want to drop the bomb as late as possible. And this is just to mitigate the effects of like wind RNG or something. So you actually want to try to drop the bomb. It's not a big deal here, but yeah, you don't want to like jump and then immediately drop the bomb because then Link you have to wait for Link to land on the ground before you can grab it. Whereas if you're like dropping it as Link is falling again, then you'll be able to grab it sooner, and then wind RNG won't affect you as much. But you can still get screwed by wind RNG anyway, so it doesn't really matter what you do sometimes. Okay, so for here, you want to hold ZR until you're about to do the step up. And this is something Koroks was telling me at some point. But essentially, if you're holding ZR right until you do the step up, it's going to be more consistent, right? There's times where you can get a step up off this that will send you straight off plateau, and that's really bad. Um, right, because you're just going to void out and lose a ton of time. But if you are holding ZR right up until the step up, you're going to be at a more consistent point in your like walking animation. It's always going to be the same. So you're always going to get like a pretty consistent angle that sends you, out this way. So here, again, you want to see I turn around immediately and start flicking. And then here I look up. I don't know if it actually changes the loads you get, but like that might be placebo. So this is a pretty lenient like skew spot. And for this clip, the nerfed shield jump is pretty apparent. So if you got skew, ran over here, immediately tried to clip, you can actually visibly see Link's shield jump not go as far. So this one, it's pretty important to keep that in mind if you're trying to go fast, because you can go too fast. That's why you kind of want to shield surf like as soon as possible when you land, because then you're kind of waiting before you can actually do the clip a bit. Okay, so this, my Q is and I actually messed up mag clip, but essentially my Q for this is line up left field of view line to intersect with this major cross on the minimap that you can see. I don't think this is really that useful, but just because I have the pen, I'll use it. But yeah, essentially it's intersecting this, and then you want to position Link so that you're like facing this circle on the, yeah, see this circle? You want Link facing that, kind of centered with it. And then you jump forward, kind of delay your shield jump. And something you can see, so the reason I messed up this clip is you can see Link is kind of facing no longer uh, as far left. I'm actually not intersecting that cross anymore, which is why I fail it. So I don't go far enough left with this angle. It's kind of like you want to be perpendicular to this, like facing perpendicular to this elevator. And so the further right you're facing, the more left you want to stand. So right here, you can see I actually don't go far enough left for the angle I was facing. But when you clip in, the reason I like to make sure my field of view line is like properly set and it's all consistent is because here, if you are holding a direction, Link, that's annoying. But yeah, if you're holding a direction, Link will, like after you clip, Link will maybe turn into that direction. So right here, I was probably holding like forward right. And so Link actually turned to that direction a bit. But if you set up your field of view properly for the first clip, you don't need to reposition or re-aim for the second clip. So it makes it faster. So yeah, when you clip, you might want to just let go of the left stick, like reset to neutral, just so that Link doesn't change his facing angle. And then you can get a fast second clip. But yeah. Here you want to look up in order to interact with the elevator as soon as possible. Because where you're facing, where your camera is facing, determines whether or not you can get the A press. So just look up immediately after you get the clip, and then you'll be able to press A immediately. Okay. This part, of course, is yeah, it's all whatever. Here, I just use gyro for that. Now, right here, I like to, when I'm doing this shield jump over, um, so I actually shield jump right here, this line, right, this line. That's where I shield jump, because the shield jump's always going to go the same distance, and it puts me like pretty much where I want to be standing. Uh, Also, I want my camera facing this way, like towards the wall already. Just that's a pre-turning thing. Right, it's slightly faster to have the camera already turned in the direction you want to be facing. Now here, canal wind bomb. I'll be linking a clip that Mikey made because I basically just use the cues Mikey describes in that clip. essentially, you want to stand where you stand isn't super important. Um, there's actually a line. It's this line. I line up my left foot with that, but the cues Mikey goes over, it doesn't really matter your position so much as long as you throw aim slightly left of like straight forward. So wherever you stand, you just throw aim a little bit left of what would be straight on against the wall, and then you turn slightly right. So right here, I actually throw aim lining up this top crosshair with this shadow where it meets the horizontal line. Then here, it's early circle, instant bullet time, and then slight delay before slight turn and then slight delay before you detonate. Yeah, you can see when I detonate, and again, I'll be linking the clip that explains it. And I'm actually not very good at troubleshooting this wind bomb. I think that's one of the reasons I find it hard. This one is really about your muscle memory, right? It's all super fast on the inputs, so you just gotta have good muscle memory to be able to hit this consistently. Okay. So yeah, that's mag. Let's see, what do I want to say for stasis? Oh, I guess okay. So up here, another ZL jump onto this wall, do 2 jumps up. And here I like to hold ZL, like after I've jumped up, keep holding ZL, and then you walk up just so that you can, like, I don't know, place the bomb here nicely. But yeah, instant turnaround, start flicking. This is the hardest BLSS in the run, right? The trees and getting up the slope, it all has to go pretty well to get a really nice slide. But essentially, you're trying to aim to go through this at pretty good speed. So you actually want Link to go kind of left first. I mean, you can go straight at it, but you definitely need to go a little bit to the left. So here, Link already, from the step up, Link is actually naturally going to the left, so you can actually go more straight on. But this is where having really good flicking does help. And it's okay. So for this slide, it's actually way more important that you're aiming and like going in the right direction, or like maneuvering around things so you don't hit any walls or trees. That's way more important than how fast you're going. So sometimes you might want to actually stop flicking and just focus on steering Link. Yeah, right here. Kind of just small adjustments of the camera. This, you see, I actually, the way I was going up the slope, I turned to the right because I felt like I was going too far right or too far left otherwise. So just, some slight wiggling to avoid anything. And then here, once I'm in the clear, as you can see, turn a bit, wiggle back. But at this point, I've cleared this tree, this rock. I can just start flicking. And then right here, there's 2 things you could do. What I've been opting to do is drop right next to the tree. You press R. I guess you could crouch as well. But essentially, once you're on the ground, press R, it'll drop the bomb right next to you. You grab it, put it away. The other thing you can do, and I think the timing is the same, but essentially it's when you're further away from the tree, you jump out of the BLSS, immediately press R after you jump. That drops the bomb, and you want to run away a bit so that you don't blow yourself up. But you blow up the bomb and then you climb the tree. And the reason I think they're roughly the same timing is because it takes some time for Link to pick up and put away the bomb. But then you're also like further away. Um, if you jump out and blow the bomb up, you also have to wait for the bomb to recharge. But that's why you actually want to be further away from the tree when doing that. Because you can get away with being far away due to waiting for that timer. So here, you see this shadow on the tree. You want to jump to the left of that. If you jump to the right of, like if Link is any further right than like centered on that line, you're probably gonna climb up twice and then just fall off the tree. So it's pretty lenient if you jump to the left of the shadow. Here it's just 3 jumps up. Now this part, this wind bomb, I found the further right you scope aim, the more cardinal it is. Actually, you can see. Wait, is this normal? Can you normally see the mini map here? Probably. But does it? Yeah, okay, I didn't know that. Apparently the mini map is still there when you're scoping. But yeah, essentially, you can see I'm slightly off of cardinal. And if I had scope aimed a little bit further right, it would be more cardinal, which the more cardinal you are, um, the higher your wind bomb's going to go. And with this wind bomb, it's pretty tight, so getting as much height as you can is makes it, easier. So if I had scope aimed, let's see. Wait, that's the wrong way, I think. Okay, so I scope aim here. Dude, it keeps on doing that. Yeah, okay, so I scope aim here. You could scope aim over here, and that works. But I guess you kind of want to play a game with how far left you can aim this wind bomb, because if you're going further left off cardinal, you're gonna get a wind bomb that sends you further left, and the shrine is to the left. So in this case, it's kind of, I don't think it's super important to like try to get as close to the shrine as possible. But yeah, if you aim it a little bit further left, you can get a nicer angle towards the shrine. But you need to make sure you hit this wind bomb, so keep that in mind. So right here, it's kind of scary doing it with this like essentially 1/3 stamina left, because when you put away the bomb, it essentially means that you don't have to wait for the timer at all. And so when you climb 3 times, you have no stamina left, basically. But you want to jump out, out of the scope as soon as you can, just because it's faster. So yeah, right here, I tend to have 1/3 stamina, but generally I'm trying to wait like 1/4 stamina before I detonate or before I drop square. So it's like sometimes I'm left with literally no, actually, sometimes I'm literally left with no stamina left, and that's bad. But yeah, you play this game of how early can I jump while still having enough stamina. to hit the wind bomb. Alternatively, you could wait a little bit longer, but again, it's just these small optimizations that add up. But you can see I kind of placed square here and then blew it up. And got a decent angle. And then I pre-aim the camera as I'm in ragdoll. This clip, very lenient, with mag skew. So essentially, I'm just standing like kind of right of this thing. It's like link kind of needs to be, well, it doesn't even really matter. It's kind of just you put link somewhere here. And then you want the left field of view line to be like slightly right of the quest marker. But again, pretty lenient. The only thing is don't go too far right. If you stand like here, link will not clip through. And, stand here also won't clip through. But yeah, pretty lenient clip. Crouch on crouch. Let's see. Anything else I wanted to go over? I know it's just stasis wind bomb. Oh, I guess so here I'm just gonna point it out just because so this this is a moving platform, right? But this is where when you're running out of the instant run, if you do that, you can see the platform over here is like this. You can't see the like this platform is I don't know like that, right? If you do the instant run, you can press A on the pedestal while you can't see this part of it. Whereas if you didn't do that, the platform would be more like that, and you would be able to see this the right angle of it. So you can see that it gets you there faster. Whether or not that saves time is a different question. But you can see the difference in this shrine because that platform is moving. But yeah, that's kind of just a silly little detail. Okay, here you want to stasis this at a point. The way I like to do it is I stasis it so that this part is flat, and then Link can just run. He doesn't have to step up or anything. He just runs straight on it. You throw cancel. Okay, you can do an animation cancel here as well. So you stasis, and then here I press R to pull out my weapon, which cancels the Sheikah stasis use, like animation thing that Link does. And then you start running. Now here, you just do a quick fix while moving forward. And then switch over. You can clear skew there. If you jump and then delay your shield jump, you can then unequip after the skew frame. And that will clear your skew because you need to clear skew before doing cryo clip. And so I know a couple people do it this way. I do it after boulder ride, but it's really just preference. It doesn't make a difference. The cues for this clip. Okay. You can see here you want Link's right foot to be aligned with the shadow, like the edge of the shadow. That's where you put Link's right foot. And now you want to throw aim, align your crosshair with this, and then you turn somewhere between these two dots. And it's actually more precise than, like, it's pretty precise because essentially you're trying to hit this, right? So that's actually not that much room. So if you were to throw aim, say like here, and then still turn to this spot, you're actually going to go too far left. And if you throw aim here, you're going to go too far right and completely whiff. And you'll be sad, lose like 20, 30 seconds. So yeah, make sure when you're doing this setup that you're throw aiming exactly at this line and turning exactly towards this like area. I actually like to do it at this dot, but I'm pretty sure you can go further right of the dot and it's fine. So that's not as precise, but yeah, it's like, I guess general advice here is make sure you hit the trick, because if you hit it first try, uh, that's way faster than just like missing it. And you know what? It takes half a second extra to like ensure that you're throwing at the correct spot, and half a second really isn't that big, um, especially in a game this long. But yeah, and then it's kind of just a turn win bomb, right? Pretty normal circle placement, square placement, turn to the thing, and then wait to detonate. You can see I take, that's probably a little more than a third of the stamina wheel. If you detonate too early, Link will get like a bad angle, kind of a bad launch. So if you see like a weak launch that sends you and over here and like hits the wall and you void out, you probably detonated too early. If you don't get any launch at all, that's something else, probably late detonation or something. But yeah, so there's Stasis, Cryo. Wow, it's already been an hour. Okay. So here we are, Cryo. You run over here, switch to Stasis, and right here for the menuing, I actually do, whenever I have to do 3 menus, I do one like right stick right and then RZR to do this menu. So you can do the fast menu because you do 1 with the right stick and then 1 with each trigger on the right side. And it's just a quick movement. But yeah, here you kind of want to stasis the boulder early. You can sprint all the way up because with this spear you're gaining back stamina. But you can start hitting the boulder much earlier because the spear is like long range. And then you jump left to get yourself into position to aim the boulder in the correct spot. Okay. And then here, this shot isn't really precise. It's 8 hits. You can do 7, but I found with 7, it's if you're clearing skew here, you want to do 8. If you do 7, you're not going to get high enough to be able to shield surf out of the boulder ride. And so 7 and 8 are like the same timing, I think. If you do 9, I think you're losing a little bit of time. And you could do 10, but with 10, you actually have to fall damage cancel. So don't do that. Stick with 8. But if you only get 7 hits in, it's actually fine. And then here, you want to crouch, kind of aim the arrow pretty high. But you actually want Link like positioned so that you shoot that. And right here, you actually want to start. You hold ZR immediately after you jump here, while you're, because you can hold ZR and then crouch, and set the angle. And because Link is pulling his bow, um, and it takes time for him to notch the arrow, you can use that time to get yourself in position. It's a small thing, but you shoot the thing, and then here you immediately press B and then forward and jump. Because if you position yourself correctly, you're able to uncrouch immediately. And I do that by pressing B, and it's very fast because you don't need that arrow if you're doing 3 ancient arrow stuff. You actually don't need it if you're doing or 6 ancient arrow either, but it can be useful in 6 ancient arrow, whereas we actually don't want the arrow if you're doing 3 AA because the arrow count is pretty exact and it works out nicely. All right, here, just unstasis and then jump like immediately. You don't actually have to jump immediately. You can jump a little bit later, but essentially just unstasis and then press X. Um, Now here, that's where I clear skew, right, with that shield jump. Okay, for this, you want to throw the square bomb. Make sure the square bomb is like right up against the boulder before you blow it up, just so that it actually moves the boulder. So you see here, uh, it's like right next to it when I blow it up, and that way it moves the boulder out of the way, which isn't necessary, but it's helpful. Because if you get an angle that would send you straight at the boulder with the step up, then it's a lot nicer when it's not there to stop you. And yeah, you set up the slide. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'll go over the jumping BLSS setup here. Essentially, you can, ZRA picks up the bomb, and now to set up BLSS, you need to jump, press B and plus, and then unequip shield. In this case, you can actually, and I mean, this works for any slide, but you can jump towards the step up spot, right? And so where normally you would jump stationary, you can actually just move forward to wherever you're trying to step up. So it saves a little bit of time. It's kind of awkward. The reason it's awkward is because to be able to jump in the direction where, jump towards the step up spot, you need to be holding left stick. And I think the way that most people do BLSS, like the setup, is pressing plus with your left thumb. So that means your left thumb needs to be holding a direction on the left stick. And then before you do the B plus, you need to move it over to plus. So what you want to do is, hold left stick, jump, and then because you're not holding ZL, you actually already want to wait for Link to reach the apex of his jump before you can, do your B plus input. And that actually helps because it gives you time to position your left thumb to be able to do the inputs anyway. So yeah, essentially just take your time, and it's still like a pretty small window because, the jump isn't that long, but you can take a little bit of time just waiting to, like, while Link is jumping, to position your thumb properly. And yeah, you don't want to be holding ZL here just because holding ZL will restrict the way Link jumps, right? He'll only be able to hop forward, left, right, or back. And it can kind of be awkward if you're trying to hold ZL. So yeah, you see how I'm like falling when I'm doing this? Yeah, see I fall a bit and then you do the B plus input. Now here, again, hold ZR. You kind of want to be to the right, like on the right side of this stump, because the snow actually makes it so that you can step up. And then immediately try to turn around and start flicking. Right, I've seen some people, they'll just like step up on it and then not start flicking immediately, but on this one, it definitely helps. And then here, so you flick a little bit, and this one, I think the hard part about it is trying to steer around these like rocks or mountains or whatever. That's why this one, like, some people are pretty slow at it. Essentially, taking good lines on your BLSS is very important. So here you want to steer, make sure you're not too far right, but most of the time your step up is not going to send you into this mountain. But you want to avoid this. So you go to the right of it, but the tighter your line is with this, the faster your slide's going to be, because ultimately you actually want to be going like straight this way. So you flick a little bit facing this way, but then it's only a little bit, very slightly. Like you're only flicking that way for a little bit, and then you want to turn to the left here, right? And so this you can now start flicking because you have momentum going towards the camera right now, and you're trying to counteract that by flicking the other direction. And so you can get a pretty tight line around this mountain. And then, yeah, once you clear that, you kind of just start flicking straight towards the shrine. Right here, I actually got lucky. Didn't get any world loads for that slide. Normally you get one or two, depending how it goes. But yeah, essentially for this one, I feel like it's really the steering you do. Like you want to make sure you're not flicking too much in the wrong direction at the start. So here, yeah, you're trying to steer this way, just to clear this, but you don't have to do a lot of flicking to clear it. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, here we go. You want to press R here. So let Link go up to the slope and then you press R. Don't try to jump out of that slide. If you do, Link will sometimes just do this really slow slide down animation. I used to do that. And then at some point, I figured out that from watching other people just press R, that was the reason. So I used to jump out and then press R to drop the bomb while it was in the air. And yeah, Link would just start sliding. So you just press R and then Link will immediately start like running up. Now here is ESC. The, the this trick sucks. Um, you can mostly keep it consistent. Kind of want to be positioned vertically, like in the middle of this patch of snow. Right, it's called snow skew for a reason. But you want to be kind of like standing in the same spot. It's like the middle of the snow, and then my throw aim spot is actually here. So there's this like the way that the shrine door is constructed, this line, that's what I use. And the reason I'm doing that is just so that it's consistent, right? You can do other angles and it works, but essentially just pick an angle and stick with it, right? Make sure it works. I've tried it. I've been doing it for, at this point, over a year, and it works for me. So yeah, you just want to keep that angle pretty consistent. I like to shield surf or shield jump kind of the right side of the door. If you shield surf too far left, there's a chance that when you clip through, you actually clip through the wall on the left side of the elevator and you land like underneath the shrine. So make sure you're far enough right. And then here, just unbuffer DSC. You actually want to let go of A after you do the second shield surf input. If you hold A, so if you're holding ZL, forward, and A, after this, Link is going to complete the shield surf and his shield is going to hit the ground. Not a big deal, but it's slightly faster to not have to do that because Link will auto dismount the shield like that. You see, if you had held A, Link would shield surf onto the ground and then you have to wait for him to get off the shield. Also, if your shield durability is low, that can be a problem. Usually it's not. Let's see, was there anything else? Okay, no, that was good. So here we are. Come on. Okay. Forward. So Cryo Wind Bomb can be the easiest wind bomb on plateau in any percent, honestly. This is the easiest wind bomb. But if you're going for the fast strat where you bounce off the wall to land closer to the monk, it sometimes messes up. And it's very unfortunate. But I've actually had quite a bit of success recently where essentially my cue is Link stands where the water and this slope meet. You can see Link, you kind of want to position in the middle of those. And the wind bomb I get in this run is actually not good. It's fine. It works. I actually got a ragdoll cancel, which kind of saved it. But essentially, my cues are right now stand between these or line up with this part. And then you throw aim here. So there's a line on the wall. You can't really see it right now. But this line on the wall, you can aim there or slightly right of it. But essentially, it's around here. And then you kind of just go fast with your inputs, right? You don't want an instant circle placement. So circle placement is kind of normal. You don't want it on the floor. It actually works when it's on the floor sometimes, but it's scary because you get a lower launch. But you just want to you see I I got the detonation with under a quarter stamina used. And so I think the good part about that is you avoid a dead angle or something if the detonation is early enough. Maybe the launch is less, it's not as fast. That might not be quite correct, but essentially, if you throw aim too far left, you can hit a dead angle. But by doing instant inputs for your wind bomb, it actually works out pretty well most of the time. Yeah, you see here I got a ragdoll cancel. It's normally supposed to land you. I did not mean to click that. Like right around here. Yeah, here-ish. And it normally does for me. But yeah, just play around with that, I guess. Okay, we're actually getting to the end of plateau, finally. Let's see. Okay, so this is... Yeah, essentially right here, you step back a little bit, right? Place circle late if you can, right? Try to place it as late as possible because wind RNG can kick in here. And then you want to do a jumping BLSS step up to save, a little bit of time. But again, that's a very small time save, so you don't have to go for it. But it can be nice. Yeah, it does make it a little bit harder. So right here, I actually turn my camera over here, jump towards the spot I'm stepping up, and then the cue I use for this, and the way you get a good initial angle here is, okay. Control 1. Oh, control, no. Control 2, control 1. Wait, why is it doing that? Whatever. Shouldn't, whatever. Weird. But essentially, so the other step up spot is right here, right? This is like a corner. That's a okay, corner right there, right? Oh, and this is where you can do a step up, right? You just walk into it. But this ledge, where you see, I drew a line like kind of straight across here. That ledge is nice. It can give you a really good angle. But the way you want to do it is essentially link stands kind of not too far left, but not too far right. Because if you're too far right, it's too tall to get a good step up. So you want to kind of be, well, I mean, where I'm standing is good because I actually get a good step up in this run. And then you want to aim the bow like perpendicular almost to this ledge. You can do a little bit to the right of perpendicular. And then the inputs for it are you're holding ZR, ZL. Okay, you need to hold ZL, and then ZR is the bow aim, right? That just sets Link's angle properly. And then you're holding forward, you're like right next to this ledge, and then you want to do roll your thumb from B to X, right? If you do it the other direction, you're going to get a bad step up. It's going to essentially just, Link is going to have no momentum going this way, like that direction. Whereas if you do from B to X, Link will stop aiming the bow when you press B, which of course you want to hold B because that's how BLSS works. But then when you do the jump, Link should be shot out in the right direction, like that. There's another step up that you can do. Koroks does it. It looks really cool. But essentially what it is instead of turning your camera this way, you have your camera facing like TOT already. And instead of, running over here and bow aiming to get their angle, you just use the left stick to set the angle correctly. That way you can start flicking immediately after the step up. It feels awkward for me, so I don't do it. And yeah, for this one, okay, because I get a good, like, initial angle, it's not as important that you, like, start flicking as soon as you can, but you do want to turn around immediately after you get the step up. Otherwise, Link will lose momentum. But yeah, again, hold ZL, hold ZR to set the angle, and then you go press B and then X afterwards. Okay, so here, something you can do. I like to jump out of this BLSS because I feel like it gives me a better control over where Link lands compared to just like pressing R to drop it, or just dropping it, I guess, by stopping, like by letting your stick go neutral or something. I like to jump. It also has the benefit of like it can save your run. So there's these holes in the TOT roof. If you do a jump and you see that you're spaced correctly to fall straight through a hole, you can actually do the fall damage cancel, right? Equip your shield and then shield jump. And because you did a jump forward, um, Link can actually do a forward shield jump, which means that you will avoid falling into the hole, which is a good thing, right? And assuming your shield has enough durability, then you should be fine to continue. And yeah, it's really sad when you fall through that hole. And it happens surprisingly often. But you want to land as close to this cutscene as possible. Right here, there's a step up I do for Castle BLSS that I'll be going over next time, I guess. But essentially, I whistle before I enter the cutscene to distract the Boko down there. But yeah, that is that. Make sure you blow up the bomb before you enter the cutscene. But that is all for Great Plateau. Yeah, that really is a long video. So yeah, there it is. I I guess what to analyze my PB, just fantastic. Like every split was just great. Obviously mag. There was a couple of things I could have done to make it faster, but really good stuff anyway. No major mistakes or anything. And it was all pretty fast. But that's the plateau section. I will work on recording the second half, and hopefully that will be up soon. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully that helped. If you got questions, I guess put a comment. I read every comment, and I try to answer all the questions that get asked, unless they it's like I don't know. I respond to a lot of comments. But yeah, I guess look forward to the next video.